Not Like Us. Written by Nick Gregorio and Ben Davidow. Sound design by Drew Marion and Nick Gregorio.
Officer, listen, what I told you is true. And when Buckley comes to, he might be one of them. And if that's the case, we gotta smoke him.
Oh, shit.
Absolutely not. Corporal, I believe something terrible happened to you and your friend and the whole fucking base, but no one is shooting anyone.
Cheryl grabs a rag from the bar. She kneels down next to Lieutenant Buckley.
Jesus, what happened to you?
Cheryl wipes blood and grit from Lieutenant Buckley's face.
What we need is a plan, Officer Dobbs.
Just give me a second.
Letitia marches up to Dobbs and Whitfield.
You two need to tell us what's going on.
We're fucked, is what's going on.
You said you were in charge.
Miss, please.
All right, I'll make the goddamn plan.
Frank and John walk over to Cheryl and Lieutenant Buckley.
Cheryl, don't touch him. He's all messed up.
Cheryl waves Frank off.
When I was in Nam, a few guys and I were surrounded in some shack of a local bar. We tunneled out through the floorboards. A sewer pipe ran right under the place. We got out unseen.
John, that's ridiculous. There's a blizzard out there. In this bar is the safest place for us.
Cheryl stares at Lieutenant Buckley's eyes moving rapidly under the lids.
Yeah, Frank, I think you're right.
All right, that was my only idea. So I'm gonna be quiet now.
Cheryl slowly pulls her hand away from Lieutenant Buckley.
I don't think this is his blood.
Professor Paul steps up.
I don't agree, Frank. I say we move. We could all get in my van and try to get to Allentown.
It's not a bad idea, Paul.
Corporal James Whitfield takes a step closer to Dobbs.
You are not understanding what we're up against, okay? That idea is a fiction, a fantasy. That cannot happen.
Clark bangs his back against the booth.
This is perfect. Yeah, this is really great what's going on.
Shut up, Clark.
Whitfield whips around to see Clark and Marcus handcuffed.
Those perps? Why doesn't he have pants on?
Long story. He's shot in the leg.
Marcus props himself up.
See? I'm shot, not grazed.
He had a gun in his pants. It was just an accident.
Bullet grazed him. He's bloody, but he's okay.
Why is the other one cuffed?
He started this mess.
Cheryl leans back. Lieutenant Buckley's face oozes, and foam bubbles around his mouth.
Hey, Corporal, what'd that red foam look like?
Karen records video of the scene with her iPhone.
Okay, I just want to get this for the record. We were dancing, and he didn't like it, and...
So he got in our face and Marcus defended us.
That doesn't matter anymore. Did any of you listen to what I said? Officer, get these civilians under control.
Dobbs shakes his head.
Turn off the goddamn camera.
No. Keep recording, Karen. This is bullshit, and we're not about to be bushwhacked by some towny rednecks.
Lieutenant Buckley's eyes burst open.
Dobbs?
Lieutenant Buckley grabs Cheryl's wrist and holds tight. Foam and blood ooze from his mouth.
Frank?
Where am I?
You're at Frank's Bar and Grill.
Frank grabs Cheryl by the shoulders.
Cheryl let go of his hand.
The other patrons snap towards the action.
What happened?
I don't know. We don't know.
Lieutenant Travis Buckley's eyes dart around the room. Officer Dobbs reaches his hand to his holster.
Lieutenant, my name is Officer Gary Dobbs.
What did you do to me?
Please release that woman.
Lieutenant, let go of her.
Lieutenant Travis Buckley snaps to attention. He releases his grip on Cheryl. Cheryl and Frank go flying backwards into John Plank. Officer Dobbs, Letitia, and Corporal Whitfield step back. Lieutenant Buckley jerks up woozily to his feet. Buckley stares a hole through Corporal James Whitfield. Karen backs up into her booth. Marcus cranes his neck to see what's happening. Professor Paul looks on, shocked.
I'm Lieutenant Travis Buckley.
Dobbs nods his head.
I have a wife? A wife? And 2 children? 2 beautiful children?
Letitia grabs Dobbs' arm.
What the fuck is going on?
Letitia looks back at Corporal Whitfield. Whitfield nods his head and takes a step closer.
You are safe here, Lieutenant. We'll get you back to your wife and kids.
Whitfield takes a step closer.
Dobbs.
Dobbs shakes his head.
Just calm down.
John helps Frank and Cheryl up off the ground. Marcus kicks Clark with his good leg.
This is fucking crazy.
Oh, cool. We're friends now.
Lieutenant Buckley has changed. Blood oozes from his mouth.
Laura Buckley. Ann Buckley. Olivia Buckley. I'm Lieutenant Buckley.
Oh, Christ. Lieutenant Buckley, I'm going to ask you to get on your knees. Do you understand me?
Buckley nods violently. Corporal James Whitfield sees that Officer Dobbs' gun holster is unclipped.
Help him!
Laura Buckley. Ann Buckley. And Olivia Buckley.
Please, Buckley, calm down and get on your knees.
Letitia shakes her head.
If he was black, you'd have shot him by now.
Professor Paul nods in agreement while slowly backpedaling away. Lieutenant Travis Buckley's neck cracks into place. The sound startles the bar patrons. Buckley looks up at Dobbs.
We are going to kill everyone.
What?
We will replace you.
Lieutenant Buckley's eyes roll in his head. Officer Dobbs, like the rest of the patrons, is frozen with fear. Corporal James Whitfield pulls Dobbs' gun from his holster. Whitfield points the gun at Lieutenant Buckley's head. Officer Dobbs grasps at his empty holster. Dobbs reaches back for Marcus's gun that is tucked in his pants. Dobbs trains the gun on Whitfield. Whitfield cocks the hammer of the service revolver. Dobbs still has his gun trained. Lieutenant Buckley snaps to life, charging at Dobbs. Bang! Corporal Whitfield fires a bullet into the head of Lieutenant Buckley. The bar patrons hit the deck.
Put the gun down!
Whitfield doesn't flinch. Letitia ducks for cover.
Holy crap!
Cheryl and Frank embrace. John Plank stares, slack-jawed.
Don't do it!
Clark jerks to attention.
Can you see what's happening? Yes, I can.
Boom! Another gunshot rips through Lieutenant Travis Buckley's skull. Lieutenant Buckley's body drops to the ground. Silence. Frank lets go of Cheryl. He's stunned.
What the fuck is happening in my bar?
Dobbs puts his hand out for the gun.
I had to.
James Whitfield slowly hands the gun over. Dobbs tucks Marcus's gun in the front of his pants.
So do I.
Dobbs turns his revolver on Whitfield. Whitfield locks his hands behind his head.
Walk to the bar. Slowly put your hands flat on the bar. John, make sure no one touches anything. Make sure no one moves.
It's my bar, Gary.
Shut the fuck up, Frank. Paul, I want you to reach into my pocket and grab my keys.
Professor Paul walks over. He reaches into Dobbs' pocket.
Unlock and remove the handcuffs on the guy shot in the leg.
I don't know if I'm qualified for this.
Paul, if you move your hand from that bar, I will shoot you dead. Do you copy?
Yes, sir.
Paul walks over to Marcus in the booth. He unlocks his cuffs.
I know I was wrong to bring the gun, but given everything that's gone on since, I think we need to focus on the now. Recalibrate? Thank you.
Paul walks the cuffs back to Officer Dobbs. Clark bangs into the booth.
What about me?
Dobbs holsters his gun and quickly cuffs Whitfield.
Thank you, Paul.
Dobbs sits Whitfield on the ground.
Give me a minute to figure out what I'm gonna do with you.
Officer Dobbs walks over to the corpse of Fragger Buckley. Dobbs is joined by Frank, Letitia, Cheryl, and John Plank.
Yeah, that's not right.
We need to get out of here. Take Paul's van.
Gary, come on. Gotta go.
I think the corporal is right. We're safer in here than we are out there.
Karen bolts up from her booth.
Fuck that! We are leaving! Let's pile into that fucking van and go!
Professor Paul has his jacket on, keys in hand, and heads for the door. Marcus slides to the edge of the booth seat, his leg bumping into Clark's head.
Bitch, you better not try to leave me here.
Letitia walks over to Marcus.
Karen, I agree with the cop. We're safer here. We can wait this thing out.
Cheryl grabs her jacket.
Frank, I know you love this place, but we're leaving.
Frank nods. Professor Paul pulls out one of the chairs from in front of the door. Frank turns to Dobbs.
Gary, come on.
No one's going anywhere. I'm in charge, and
Frank and Cheryl turn to leave. Clark shakes his head.
No, Officer Gary. You are not.
Bang! A body slams into the front door from the outside. Professor Paul jumps back. Slam! The body and marred face of Vin fills the tiny diamond-shaped window of the front door.
Please, let me in.
The patrons look on in horror.
Don't just stand there, let him in.
Cheryl rushes for the door. John Plank grabs Cheryl.
No. We can't.
Cheryl wrestles with John, then claws at the door.
They're everywhere. There's nowhere to go. Please.
Frank grabs Cheryl. She fights to break free. Officer Dobbs bolts over to the door.
Don't open that door! Vincent? I'm sorry.
The life starts to leave Vin's face.
They are everywhere.
Vin crumbles to the ground. The patrons stand shocked by the door. Cheryl balls into Frank's shoulder. John Plank looks down at the floor.
I'm sorry, honey.
Nope. We can't leave. We have to stay right here and, wait it out.
Officer Dobbs walks back to the bar. He kneels down next to Corporal James Whitfield. Dobbs unlocks Whitfield's cuffs.
I'm sorry. I believe you. Thank you for saving my life.
Corporal Whitfield nods.
What do you know? What can we do?
I don't know anything. other than what I saw and what just happened here.
Letitia and Karen step up to the bar.
Is it a disease or something? Like, is this a zombie thing?
I don't know.
But maybe it is.
Miss Letitia, right? Please, we're trying just to figure this thing out.
And I'm not a middle school lunch lady. It's just Letitia.
It could be airborne like the flu. Oh, Christ.
John Plank and Professor Paul join the group.
So we're just supposed to listen to this man. No questions asked?
Were they doing an experiment at the base? Is this only happening at the base?
I don't know.
Right, cool, got it.
Christ, all of our families.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we need to worry about ourselves at this point, Paul.
Yeah, you got that right, old top.
Well, how do we know G.I. Joe ain't a fragger that got away?
Professor Paul walks off and sits back at the bar and swigs straight from a bottle of bourbon.
He told us what he knows.
Yeah, but he brought that one in here.
Back up. We all saw what happened to Lieutenant Buckley. He wasn't human.
All I know is there's us and them.
Corporal James Whitfield gets up and walks off on his own, sitting at a table by himself.
Hey, girl, leave the corporal alone.
Oh, because I'm a girl?
Good Lord. No. Hey, fellow human being, leave him be.
Better, but no. He's the only one that knows anything.
I don't think he's withholding information.
The other guy was cool too. Till he wasn't. What's to say that this guy won't snap on some shit?
Look, the corporal is no different than us. He's scared. He's wondering if this is a nightmare or some really ill-advised prank show.
Prank show makes sense. Marcus would have to be in on it.
Officer Dobbs rolls his eyes.
Something happened to Buckley. He transformed. Something like the trauma at the base must have triggered it. We've been here all day under a lot of stress, and none of us have been triggered.
Oh, I'm more than triggered.
You know what I mean. We need to know who we can trust.
The power goes out. Complete darkness sans the emergency exit light. A loud crashing sound echoes through the darkness. The backup generator kicks on. Fragger Buckley's body is gone. There's a bloody streak of slime and grit heading back into the kitchen. Corporal Whitfield pops up.
Where's the lieutenant's body?
No, 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 no.
We are going to die in the most gruesome of fashion.
Well, we gotta find him.
Cheryl, drying her eyes, grabs the keys from behind the bar. She locks the swinging kitchen doors.
Are you out of your mind? After what those things did to Vin?
Whitfield nods.
Don't chase it. Let it come to us, if it comes back at all.
Officer Dobbs steps in.
Yeah, if he's gone, let him be gone. He's locked out.
I second that.
Me too.
Good for you, Paul. Out on a limb.
Marcus props himself up in the booth.
I don't want to die. Can any one of you be of a real assistance right now? Please?
Whitfield, having a moment of realization, cracks a smile.
Yeah, I have EMT training.
Corporal James Whitfield walks towards Marcus. John sheepishly walks up to Cheryl.
I was just trying to help.
Cheryl nods.
John Plank, you know better than anyone knows. I have seen some things in my day.
Yeah.
I know what's at stake here, but thank you.
Cheryl gives a wink.
Hey, help yourselves, guys. Open bar.
Professor Paul hops the bar. He pours a round for Cheryl and John. Paul takes a sip from the bottle for himself. Corporal James Whitfield puts his hand out for Marcus to shake it.
I'm Jimmy.
Marcus shakes his hand.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Clark.
What do we got here?
This guy shot himself by accident.
He's the reason why I shot myself by accident. I should have shot him.
Back at the bar, Cheryl touches Officer Dobbs on the shoulder to get his attention.
I'm all right now.
Frank walks over.
How long do we got with the generator?
It only works for about 12 hours.
Dobbs bites his lip. Frank rubs his head.
I don't know if we filled up the gas tank after the last storm.
Dobbs' eyes go wide. Cheryl turns on a dime.
Were we now? Great, Frank. Fucking great.
I'm sorry.
Guess what? We died tonight. There was so much shit we didn't do.
I'm sorry.
Did we ever go on a honeymoon?
No.
Why?
Timing, money, and I don't know.
That's it? We didn't do anything. I wanted kids, asshole.
I'm sorry.
You done?
Frank stares blankly.
That's what I thought. Save your sorries.
Cheryl walks away.
Jesus Christ, Frank, how much time do we got?
Frank waves his hand back and forth.
Last storm, it was on for about 4 hours, so we got about 8, maybe a little more, probably a little less.
Cheryl glares at Frank from across the bar.
She's gonna kill you before that.
Clark sleeps against the booth, still cuffed, snoring. Corporal James Whitfield wraps an ace bandage around Marcus's wound. Marcus salutes Corporal Whitfield.
Godspeed, soldier.
Try and get some rest, all right?
Corporal Whitfield walks off and sits alone at a table. Frank puts the finishing touches on the Christmas decorations. The halls are decked. Officer Dobbs sits by himself in a booth. Letitia, Karen, John, Professor Paul, and Cheryl sit or stand at, on, and around the bar, a little drunk.
Paris abroad in junior year and they never went back.
That's crazy. You just had 1 year left.
Je ne suis pas le plus intelligent.
Ooh la la, fancy.
Frank hangs mistletoe over the bar, just over Cheryl's head.
So why didn't you go back to school?
She married me. I wrecked her life.
Cheryl spins around and kisses Frank.
Yeah, you did. I'm sorry. I am not mad anymore. We're all gonna die. And I'm a little drunk.
Down at the other end of the bar, Professor Paul and John Plank share a drink.
She wanted me to work on my thesis. Get tenured at the university. I was wasting my time writing hard fantasy and sci-fi.
Hard fantasy.
Great news! I don't have to write sci-fi anymore because I'm fucking trapped in one.
What exactly makes for a hard fantasy?
John, we are being confronted with twisted mirror images of ourselves. Most likely alien in origin, highly adaptable clone creatures that have implanted false memories, and once confronted by trauma, their false memories break down and their programming kicks in. Or
John Plank furrows his brow.
Or maybe it's a virus, a bacterial infection that consumes its prey, some kind of parasite that controls its host, riding it like a mindless vessel.
So you're saying they're either pod people or zombies?
Pod people or zombies.
John and Paul nod in unison. John Plank takes a swig of his drink, emptying the glass. He slams it down. Clark's head droops, whacking his chin on his chest. He wakes up. Marcus scowls at him.
Officer Gary, can you please let me out of these cuffs?
Officer Dobbs walks over and releases Clark from his cuffs.
Only because you were polite.
Officer Dobbs moves out of the way, and Clark stretches and grabs a chair. Dobbs sits down across from Marcus.
How you doing?
My leg is numb, so I guess that's better. But what are we doing?
This is a little unprecedented. Plus, we have the corporal over there. He's coming up with a plan.
Oh, you're being modest. Everyone trusts good old Officer Dobbs.
Clark pulls a chair up to the booth. Dobbs offers Clark a cigarette. Clark lights up and takes a drag.
But to me, he's just Gary.
Officer Dobbs forces a smile. Marcus nervously grins.
Clark.
Gary from down the street, boys with Mikey, and Nick, and Nicky's little brother Clark.
Frank walks up and puts 3 beers on the table.
Hey, how about a drink, bud?
Cheers.
Dobbs sips the beer, hands one to Marcus.
Where's Mikey and Nicky, Gary?
I get it, Clark.
Yeah, you were nothing here. You're just a loser cop who never left his hometown.
Shit. Spill the tea, sis.
You needed to look good, be a real cop. Can't be everyone's friend, you told me. Not everyone's gonna love you, Clark, but they do. I mean, I'm being an asshole, but everyone really loves him.
Same old song, Clark.
Yeah, then you arrest your boys, my brother. And now, you're hot shit.
Yeah, hot shit.
They were trying to feed their families, officer.
They were cooking meth.
Karen and Letitia plop down in the chairs opposite Corporal James Whitfield, placing a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses on the table.
How about some company?
No, I'm thinking.
Karen pours whiskey in the 2 glasses.
Yeah, plan hatching. We know.
What's the big plan?
It's the talk of the bar.
Karen's elbow slips off the table and smash, dropping her phone.
Nice.
I don't have much of a plan yet.
Really?
I don't know what to do.
Don't make us drink alone, army guy.
Corporal James Whitfield takes the glass.
Call me Jimmy, but only one. G.I. Jim's gotta stay sharp.
That's mighty white of you.
They sip their drinks.
What's your deal, Jimmy?
I don't have a deal. Not everybody's got a deal.
Married?
Yeah, I was. I don't want to talk about it.
Then don't talk about it.
Corporal James Whitfield finishes his drink.
Another?
Clark leans in, talking to Marcus.
Hey, this guy's a fraud, He's a mall cop version of a traffic cop. But now, Gary gets to be a cowboy while Mike and Nick rot, sitting in that prison, probably torn apart by some monster person or stuck in their cells, waiting to be ripped in half.
This is all really hard for me to follow.
Okay, might as well do this now. End of the world and all. You think I wanted Nikki and Mikey to be put away for that long? No. Sure, it worked out good for me professionally. I'm not happy about it, but those 2, they had it coming.
This is like a real moment.
No, it is not.
You could have done something else.
Clark stamps out his cig on the tabletop.
This is like some old town, hometown, Bruce Springsteen type of shit, and I really don't have that much to offer.
Officer Dobbs hands Clark a cigarette and lights another himself. At Corporal Whitfield's table, Letitia sips her whiskey. Karen leans in, listening intently.
Were you asked to leave?
I was.
I once moved without telling the guy I was dating.
That's not too bad.
We lived together, and the lease was in my name.
Ugh, yikes. What happened to him?
No idea, no regrets.
No regrets until kids are involved. My daughter. Fuck.
Karen's eyes water.
I never thought I'd be that guy. And I always wanted a little boy. But my daughter is... well, she's something else. And it's been a while since I've seen her. And I'll probably never see her again.
Corporal Whitfield slams down his drink. He laughs to himself.
What's her name?
It's weird. I'm sitting here trying to say her name and I can't.
It's just too much booze.
Karen starts shaking her head.
I can't picture her face. I can't picture my baby girl's face.
Karen and Letitia look on, concerned.
Please, Jimmy, just relax.
I'm trying to picture her and I can't. I'm blanking.
Let's just get you some water, Jimmy. Calm down.
I don't know. I'm scared.
Karen and Letitia slide back from the table. Corporal Whitfield bangs his hand against the table. Again, bang!
Dobbs, something's wrong with the army guy.
The crew at the bar laughs, not hearing Karen. Whitfield's eyes are blood red.
Come on, talk to us. What's going on in your head, James?
You've got to be fucking kidding me. Like this? Fuck!
Corporal James Whitfield repeatedly bangs his hand against his head. He's foaming at the corners of his mouth.
Dobbs?
Dobbs looks up from his booth. Corporal James Whitfield lunges across the table, knocking over Karen. They tumble to the ground. Letitia falls back on her chair. Bang! Dobbs snaps out of his shock. Marcus is screaming in terror. Clark leaps into action. He wrestles Corporal Whitfield while Karen looks on in disbelief. Letitia can't believe it. John Plank and Paul stumble off their stools. Corporal James Whitfield has completely transformed into Fragger Whitfield. Clark realizes the transformation. Fragger Whitfield bites into Clark's forearm. His teeth gnaw into muscle. Clark pulls away, bleeding profusely. Clark screams in agony. Fragger Whitfield rears back. Bang! A shotgun blast blows a hole through Fragger Whitfield. Blood sprays all over Karen. She screams. Cheryl, from behind the bar, lowers a smoking shotgun. She cocks it. She fires another round of buckshot into Fragger Whitfield. He crumbles to the ground.
Oh my God!
Karen!
Karen scrambles to her feet, hysterical and terrified. She trips over Marcus, who's hanging out of the booth. Karen stumbles about the area, crying and red-faced.
I gotta get out of here!
The weight of the moment settles in on the bar patrons. Cheryl lowers the shotgun.
We can't go anywhere.
I'm leaving! I don't care! This is awful! I'm so scared!
Letitia approaches Karen. Karen turns to run.
No!
Karen slips on the slime streak left by Fragger Buckley and cracks her head hard on the floor. Smashed to black.